month. So our friends at HP gave us what I just call a slam dunk shredder. It has all the features that you love. If you don't know why you need a shredder, let me just tell you. Identity theft, it's been around for a while, right? Ever since we got into the computer age and social media and all that stuff, identity theft has just gotten huge. We've had a couple of hosts here that dealt with it. I think Marlo was one. It took her years to figure it out. And it cost her a lot of money, right? Attorney's fees, all that stuff. If you don't think people are going through your mail, you're sadly mistaken. There are dedicated people out there, unfortunately, that will, we call them dumpster divers, or they'll just find mail laying around. They could be going in your mailbox. I mean, you never know. Get that stuff out, and the stuff that you don't need, you need to shred. If you throw it in the garbage and you think you're tearing it in half, oh, that's gonna be enough, I'll tear it in half. That doesn't do it. Even if you cut your credit cards, you're never gonna do what a microcut, what we call fine cut, shredder is going to do. This will work on paper, it works on most thinner cardboard, it works on credit cards, it works on staples. It has a lot of wonderful features. The biggest one that I love, two of them actually, is you can shred 10 sheets at a time. That's how you know you're buying a good shredder. If it says 2 sheets, or 3 sheets, or 4 sheets, the gears are not strong enough. 10 sheets at a time. Not only that, if you have a lot of stuff to shred, you don't want to sit there, boom, boom, boom. You don't want to do that. It has what we call an auto dock feeder in the back. So you can take up to 100 sheets of garbage that you don't want anymore, and you can put it in there and it'll shred it into unrecognizable pieces. We call it micro. They're so tiny you can barely hold them. All right, nobody's gonna take the time to try to put that together. HP is our number1 brand here at HSN. This is the shredder that they provided us. It is on sale today. It was $179. You can get top of the line for $119 with free shipping and handling. Our electronics expert extraordinaire, top of the line here in our co-host, Aaron Berger is joining us today. Hi, buddy.
Good morning, buddy. Happy HP month to you.
These are awesome.
They're beautiful,
They're
right?
on wheels. I love that too, so I can move it.
The casters make it really, guy can pick up 20 pounds even if he tells you can't, but you know what? You really don't have to be able to. They are relatively lightweight, but it's so easy to just be able to roll them wherever you want. Let me show you a couple of things that I love. Some of my favorite things about the shredder. Again, this is HP month. We celebrate in a big way in March, but it's coming to an end. So our fine cut shredder, which is the most complete shredder we do. What I mean by that is it's the smallest cuts. I put in 1 page there just a moment ago. Now I'm going to put in 2 pages. Like Guy said, you can do up to 10 pages at a time. So there's this manual slot, again, couple of pages at a time. There's this manual slot in the front where you can just kind of get your stuff in. And then there's also an auto document feeder. So the auto document feeder really changes everything. It means that you don't have to do 1 page, 2 page, 3 page, even 10 pages at a time. You can load it up. But before we get there, so far we've done paper, right? Up to 10 pages at a time. These are credit cards. Like Guy said, you've got to have a shredder with a really strong motor. Well, not only is this the finest cut, this is not micro cut, this is fine cut. This is the finest cut we've ever done, the most complete, the smallest cut. It's an incredibly strong motor. One thing I'll show you, I know a lot of you over the years have had shredders and you couldn't put paper clips through. You had to pull out the paper clips first, right? I remember that job as a kid in grade school, you know, doing it for your teachers, right, with the little removers. You don't have to worry about that anymore. That's how strong the motors are. But this is what changes everything. This is the auto document feeder, and this means you can put a whole stack of, you know, that car that you bought 15 years ago, but you've got a file of all the payments sitting around, whatever it is, whatever junk you have that is compromising your personal identity. That's the problem with it, is that we have to get rid of our utility bills and our financial information, our tax documents and all of that, because Guy, identity theft, while it's true it has become bigger in the digital world as of late, it certainly exists in the hard paper world as well still, and we've got to make sure we're shredding documents that have our name and our social security number and our address and those sort of things on them. You know,
it's so funny because it's one of those things like head in the sand. It's never going to happen to me. Right. Until it happens to you. And then once it happens to you, it is a world of, insert bad word, right? You know what I'm talking about. It
It's a
is
mess.
no fun if somebody's, and you'd be surprised how many people look for it. Credit card numbers, social security numbers, bank statements, even like your medical records. Like
So much.
I take a couple medicines every month, and on the thing, you have to tear off the label. And the label has your name, your information. Do you really want people
I
knowing
shred
what
the
you're
heck
taking?
out of that stuff.
I do, because I don't want anybody to know.
either.
So lots of different ways, and not to even, I mean, tax returns are obvious, but even
Sure.
receipts, junk mail. Do you know, I can tell junk mail just by looking at it. I don't have to open it. You know, to resident. I'm Guy, I'm not the resident. I know it's to whom it may, whatever. So I immediately shred that, and it gets that headache off, so I don't have 15 letters that I have to see on my counter every day. I'm like, screw it. Just throw them, put them in the shredder. If you want the cloud blue, I have that available. 350. Juniper, 480. If you want the brick red, last call, 28 left. It's a little over 2 dozen. Behind that is black. We're usually okay in black. And then we're okay, I think we're okay in the Portobello as well. I love the fact that
Look at this.
it doesn't look like a shredder.
Looks nice,
It
right?
looks like just a beautiful little piece of furniture.
The designers
You
did a
can
good
move it in
job.
and out of an office if you want to. It's not super duper heavy. All the weight is in the gears.
Yeah.
But look at the fine. That's finer than microcut.
It is finer than microcut.
That is the smallest shred I've ever seen.
It's the smallest shred that we've ever had. So this really is a new technology in completely erasing your information. A couple of things I love about it. Let me just pop this back in here. So number one, it comes fully assembled. So you don't have to do, let me look
Try doing that
here.
sideways.
There we go, There we go. You don't have to get it home, put the gears together, screws, nuts, bolts. It's not, it comes fully assembled. You open it up, you plug it into the wall, and you're ready to go. So that's one thing I love. Another thing I love, while you're shredding, you can be, so while you're using the auto dock feeder, you can still be using the manual. You can still be, kind of going through things, even when you have a big stack that you want to be shredding at the same time. This is great. What I'm about to say is a big thing. This does not require ongoing maintenance. It does not require oil sheets or anything like that. So again, you get it home, you plug it in, and you're done. When you're not using it, you fold up that auto dock feeder in the front, which is great. It folds up sort of nice and compact and clean. Love the fact that it's on casters. It wheels really easily from place to place. I want to tell you, it's not just Guy and I that say, hey, it's a, good idea to make sure you do this to protect your identity. And I will tell you my very quick personal story. Compared to most people's identity theft story, mine is nothing. But when I was in college, I studied in England for 6 months, and I got home, and my mom said, don't worry about it. We paid that credit card, the past couple months, we've got the credit card bill, and we paid it off. I was like, what credit card bill? Someone had applied for a credit card bill. My folks thought they were doing me a favor, right? Paying it off. I was out of the country. This was years ago.
Gosh.
And that's what happens. We were able to cancel it. It was a couple months. Compared to the stories of like Marlo, our host, who dealt with it for years and years, and I've had several hosts and several friends who've really had to deal with it. It's a pain, and it's not just a pain, it's incredibly expensive and incredibly mentally taxing. Again, not just our opinions and our stories, it's the Federal Trade Commission recommends, and we'll show you right now, here's what they say. There are many steps consumers can take to minimize their risk of being an identity theft victim. For example, consumers should closely guard their social security number and should shred charge receipts, should shred copies of credit applications, and should shred other sensitive documents. So basically, if you've got it, shred it. Here's when to shred it. They recommend immediately your sales receipts, ATM receipts, credit card statements, credit card offers, paid utility bills. You'll see, we'll pop this still that I'm reading now up for you guys so you can see it at the same time. When to shred. Also, after up to a year, you'll want to shred your pay stubs, you'll want to shred your bank statements, your paid undisputed medical bills, and then after 7 years, if you've got it, shred it, all of your tax documents. It is that time of year for W-2s and K-1s and interest statements and all of that.
And it saves so much space in recycling.
That's another big point.
If you take a piece of paper and you crumble it up in your hand, it's about the size of your fist. If you shred it, it's like 2 tablespoons of paper. So you can bag that. You can use it for packaging.
Absolutely.
You can use it in gifts because it's multicolor. You can use it like confetti. But the bottom line is nobody can read what's in there. And if you are recycling, it compacts it down. And speaking of things like recycling and garbage, it's very, and you'll get my point in a second, it's very satisfying.
Oh, it feels good.
You know what I love? When I come home from work and the recycle guy is taking my recycles away and the bin is empty.
It feels great.
It's like, take it. It's off my plate. Same with my garbage, right? Got a full garbage and it sits on the curb, you get home, it's empty. You're like, it's a weight has been lifted. It's the same with a shredder. Like, you know that you've done something smart. You've done something that's right. Because this is not a choice. This is not a luxury item. This is insurance to protect you. This is a way to be able to get rid of the clutter, all the bulk mail, and I would say probably 70% of my mail is crap.
Same,
right?
junk.
It's junk. So I can recycle that. And there's a recycle place. I look at it every time I drive to work. It's right off 275. It's a huge, open, giant garage, and you can see the piles of paper and cardboard and plastic. And I'm like, I always feel good. I'm like, that's going to get recycled. And that's another great thing. So there's so many different levels of why this is great. It protects your identity. It makes you feel good because you know you're doing the right thing. Because you're recycling stuff. You know you can sleep at night knowing, geez, I wonder if somebody's outside. Speaking of garbage on the curb, I wonder if somebody's out there looking through my garbage to see if I've got a credit card receipt in there. Or maybe, God forbid, my Social Security is somewhere. It's tax time. You got what? 3 weeks, April 15th.
Time.
I keep yelling at Danny. I'm like, dude, you do your taxes? Oh, I got plenty of time. Such a punk. But it's tax time. I don't have this shredder, but I have a shredder. And every year I go in, I have a bin, and I go in and I'm like, okay, that one's 7 years old. I take it and I get rid of it because your whole life is on your tax return.
One of the nice things about this being the smallest shred, the finest shred, to your point of recycling in that, because it's a smaller shred, it takes up less room in the bin. The physics behind that, or the science behind it, is the smaller the piece, the less air that fits between each piece, so it can fit in there more compactly, so you don't have to empty it as much. And I'm going to show you guys right now. I'm going to compare it
I
to
try
the
not
other.
to make a mess.
You really can,
I mean,
right?
Look in my
They're
hand.
the tiniest little
Do
shreds.
you realize that's probably 4 or 5 sheets of paper?
At least. At least.
Look at and I don't want to make a mess. Normally, I'd hold a piece of paper in my hand like that.
That's the whole thing.
That is like 4 or 5 different sheets of paper. And I mean, it's almost like sand in there.
Well, and you'll notice that
I'm
you
glad I
can't read
looked
a
at
character.
it. That's not microcut.
No, this is fine cut. This is the new,
wow.
and in fact, let me do just a real quick history of shredding here to show you the difference. So, Guy and I both have sold I don't know how many gazillion strip cut shredders over the years. This is what we had available to us. The problem with strip cut, as you can see, is you can read entire lines of text. My 5-year-old with some Scotch tape could put that back together. So we had to do better than that. We did. We moved on to what's called cross-cut shredding, and cross-cut is better. It takes those strips and it cuts them crosswise, but still you can get 8, 9 characters. Well, 8, 9 characters, that's a social security number, right? That's a phone number. That's too much information. We had a great leap forward when we got to micro-cut shredding. It really was a big difference. You can only see a couple of characters at a time. Here's the problem. Have you heard of artificial intelligence? It's all we talk about now. It's all you read about now. With artificial intelligence and a couple of characters, and you know what address you pull this out of the garbage, they can just still get so much information about you. Now check this out. So those are the cuts that you've seen so far. Just in front here, I'm going to show you. I'm going to grab some paper out of my little shredder. Look at the difference. You won't believe it. This is the size of your fine cut shred.
Yeah, it's awesome.
You can't identify one character, not one letter, not one number, not one parentheses. The information is totally obliterated. And that's what makes all the difference in the world. It's not just that you shredded, but you accomplished your task, which was to destroy remnants of any information that might have otherwise been there.
And it feels good.
It feels great.
I find it like a stress reliever.
Totally.
Like, if somebody gets me angry, I go shred.
Yeah, just go get rid of that stuff.
Remember,
Clean it
up to
Spring cleaning.
100 sheets in the auto dock feeder, 10 sheets at a time. If you don't have a shredder and you're just throwing your stuff in the garbage, just go to the casino and put all your money on black or red and take a chance. Otherwise, you're doing something that's smart, okay? Remember before I was talking about the microfiber cloths? It's a similar thing. It's a smart thing to do. You will save yourself in the long run. You don't have to buy 1,000 paper towels this year. You don't have to worry about somebody stealing your identity. These are ways to protect you and your family. And save you money at the same time. Finecut technology, that's the way to go. Aaron, you're not going anywhere.
No, sir.
Because I know we got, I would say, would you agree? It could be the best computer of the year.
100%.
It could be the best one.
Incredible deal on a laptop.
Let's walk over.
Let's go.
By
All
the
right,
way,
let's do it. Here we go.
if you want to save $10 today, Aaron, you want to be on this side?
Yes, sir, please.
Okay. If you want to save $10 today, get an 8% credit card. We'll put $10 in your account, and you can use it on anything in the show. I'm going to just say hi to all my Facebook friends. I don't have a sec here to reach out to all of you, but you know who you are.